Whether loved or despised, we cannot help but accept that video games, or more generally the world of video games, has taken over during the last decades. It is often thought that video games are for children, a statement so strongly denied by the statistics of Digital Bros reporting that the average age of gamers is 34 years. It is not easy to indicate a year zero for the birth of the video game, so to avoid going too far back, we will refer to the year 1958, with the debut of Tennis for Two, followed in the 70s by Space Invaders and Pong, the most famous video game in history. The 80s instead were characterized by the entry on the scene of Nintendo and the advent of Pac-Man, which dragged the video game industry to the success that continues to accumulate today. Over the past 50 years, video games have evolved into effective learning tools. Not only do they promote an individual's focus on a goal, but they use a variety of techniques to incentivize efficient learning. A growing body of research shows that certain types of games, particularly action video games, promote improvements in a wide variety of perceptual, attentional, and cognitive skills. These discoveries sparked the use of video games, even those designed purely for entertainment, by expanding industries for a variety of practical applications, from training individuals with cognitively and perceptually demanding jobs, like military pilots and endoscopic surgeons, to rehabilitating individuals with deficits in particular types of visual or cognitive processing, for example, individuals with amblyopia or with dyslexia. Video games, particularly real-time strategy games, also fight against declining mental capacities in old age, promote job-related skills, and offer models of how to teach children complex tasks and abilities such as managing diabetes or diseases that require constant attention from young patients. On the other hand, using video games unconsciously and for excessively long periods of time can lead to undesirable effects, some of them very serious and others even permanent. Most of the research done on the negative effects of video games, especially action games, has focused on inciting violence and aggressive behavior. There has been proof of a correlation between the use of video games and the onset of ADHD, and their thoughtless use can have negative consequences on the body, with the emergence of what is known as computer vision syndrome, caused by spending too much time looking at a computer screen or any other digital display. When it comes to learning a language, the expression business before pleasure turns out to be somewhat unreliable. Without some enjoyment, language learning can become boring. That doesn't mean there's no value in studying books. It means that it's not the only thing you need to try your hand at. Finding a way to entertain yourself with the language beyond books is important not only for success in learning, but for connecting with the idiom on a deeper level. The popularity of games in today's culture is constantly increasing, as is the curiosity of the young generation towards unconventional forms of language learning. Video games become a conduit for learning a new language through techniques such as repetition, positive association, and contextual learning. Platforms like Steam encourage their use and are great for promoting the use and acquisition of a new idiom, thanks to the possibility to switch target languages according to our preferences. Genres such as MMOs and MOBAs are the tip of the spear for anyone who wants to dive headfirst into the world of languages and interact with thousands of people who share the same interest. The video game company Telltale Games is perfect for those who want to relax while also enjoying an experience that will enrich their cultural background, thanks to the development of video games full of dialogues and subtleties, based on the most famous TV series and movies like Batman, The Walking Dead, and Game of Thrones. There are two types of video games that can be included in the field of language teaching: edutainment games and serious games. Since edutainment video games are a combination of learning and entertainment, it is appropriate to determine what the relationship between these two elements is. Rittenfeld and Weber identify three paradigms that can help define this relationship: the motivation paradigm, the reinforcement paradigm, and the blending paradigm. Other characteristics of edutainment titles include a simple gameplay and a limited budget. The term serious games appeared for the first time in 1968 in Clark Abb's book titled Serious Games. Opening the era of serious games was the video game America's Army, released in 2002. Serious games offer a learning environment in the form of a story with an easy to understand beginning and keep the instructions simple enough to minimize frustration levels and time spent learning the rules of the game. Video games can become a faraway world, a place of respite for those who want to unplug for a while. Thanks to the immense breadth of their content, they are suitable for any age group, from the very young to the very old. Their action packed stories manage to keep us glued to the screen with such steadiness that makes it impossible to leave the game. The settings and landscapes would make the greatest artists and writers of all time envious, not to forget the ability of video games to virtually bring together people who will later establish long lasting bonds of friendship and love. In 2021, it's about time we part ways with the video games are bad for you stereotype. As illustrated in this thesis, the benefits are plenty and before our eyes. It's up to us to open the doors to change and accept that what's new doesn't always come to harm us.